to find a way to bring some loving here today. Father, Father,
All right. Welcome to AZNO here on Icon Radio. And this your boy Larville S. Wick. Don't forget the S. Wick. You got your man Floyd over there. Floyd, what's happening, man?
What's going on? This is your boy Floyd with AZNO.
Yes, sir. Welcome back. You know, we had to take a little break, reflect on things. It's been, it's Black History Month.
Yes.
It's one of those where you're like, you know what? I am not coming in. I need to figure out my life. I need to figure out what's going on. But, welcome to Black History Month. We're just going to end it out that way, talk about a few things here, and we'll just go from there.
Oh, man. You know what? There's so many things you can talk about when it comes to Black history. All the pioneers that, paved the way, all the people there that invented, you got your inventors, and stuff like that. I mean, it's a gang of stuff.
I'm not even going to say that I know everybody and everything, because I don't. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today, was how come we as a people do not know our own history. It's like, and I hate the phrase, and I was telling you about this earlier, and I wanted to mention it, is like they always say, well, go educate yourself.
Right.
Why do we have to feel the need to go educate ourselves? Like, I get it. I'm not taking away from not educating yourselves, but we have to educate ourselves, meaning we need to go find our own history. But yet, in school, we learn the white man's history all the time.
Right.
We learn everything that they supposedly did, quote unquote. And it brings me to what's been happening in the world as far as politics. I know I'm going off a topic right quick, but I'm just going to talk about Trump real quick, and I'm going to reel it back in.
There you go.
I'm going to reel it back in. But
there
no, it's
go.
like he literally started an insurrection. He started an insurrection and tried to say he did not start an insurrection and wants us to believe the story that he did not start the insurrection when he actually in fact did. So here it is that we see what you did, but he trying to make it where history shows that he did not. And that's what they've been doing all this time. Because I heard a story about what is it? The story of Pocahontas. The story that we think we know of Pocahontas is not really the story that we think we know of Pocahontas. So did you know that Pocahontas, when John, what's his name, Smith, came over here to America, that she was only 13 years old at the time? And it isn't in the story of Pocahontas that they wound up getting married? Or not her, I think she wound up marrying somebody else. And then went over to, was it England or wherever they, took her back to from America. And she wound up dying over there. She never made it back home. But she was 13 years old. I think she was married when she was 19. I don't think she made it past 20 or 21 years of age. But let history tell it. She was this beautiful young woman, and they came over, and she, was trying to help them and all the No, they raped and pillaged and all type of stuff. So it's like the history that they try to tell us sometimes is not the truth. But then tell us to go educate ourselves on our own history. Because there, and it brings into the point of just recently, as of, this was like January, there was a school in Utah where the parents were mad because they were starting whatever this for Black History Month. I'm just going to read it to you. This is coming from the Atlanta Black Star. A Utah, now this is after the fact of what happened, but a Utah school has now walked back its decision to offer parents the option to opt their children out of Black History Month instruction after facing backlash from the community. So it wasn't the parents. It was the school's decision to say, hey, if your child does not want to listen or learn about Black history, you know what? They don't have to do it. But yet we have to sit up there and learn about their history every day.
Every single day. Because, okay. So when you're in school, do you have a choice? Did they say, you have the option to opt your child out to learn about American history.
No, they told me that in 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue and discovered America. That's what they told me.
Did we have the option to opt out of that? To
We
even
did
hear that?
not have
So-
the option to opt out.
So I'm like, why would they even consider anything like that? That's telling me like, okay, now your school is like, okay, what are you? It's like you're trying to get your school to be a certain way. I'm not gonna say racist, but I'm just say a certain way.
Yeah,
You know, and that's not cool.
that's not cool at all.
No. So man, all this.
And the only
hatred.
reason why they stopped doing it because of backlash. They were literally going to say, "Hey, y'all do not have to learn this Black history."
Just to please those people.
Utah.
Yeah, Utah.
So make sure y'all don't move to Utah. But I already knew about Utah. I mean, it's already a whole state that was founded by the Mormons. I mean, that should tell you your first thing just straight off the bat.
All right, so let's get into some deep into this whole Black history. Like, who would you like? Who motivates you as a historian, somebody that's Black, that historian, or something like that, who did something that you can talk about?
You know what? I actually have somebody.
Okay.
My dad.
Okay.
No, I'm serious.
Okay. No.
So, and that's probably the reason why I am the way I am today. Actually, I'm gonna be straight up honest. So, my dad was the first African American firefighter for the city of Hazel Crest, Illinois, and that was about like 1986. And there was like a lot of politicalness with it, but it was the fact that he strived so hard and to become, the first of. I mean, I don't think he went into it to become the first of. He wanted to change his life. He wanted to become a firefighter, help people. And that's what's in me. And that's what the whole basis of our show is. Helping people, help people with information, help people with knowledge, help people that unfortunately can't help themselves sometimes. We are here to give the little man the stronger voice type deal. That's what we're here for. I've always been that person. I have to help people. I'd rather help you than help myself sometimes. I know that sounds wrong, but sometimes people are like that. They rather help the other person first before they help themselves.
Right.
Sometimes that's what drives them and fuels them. So shout out to my dad, Nathaniel Witt Jr. Thank you so much for showing me what it is to help people in need.
There you go. That's it.
Yep.
That's right.
That's my dad right there. You know what I'm saying?
My dad. That's my daddy.
That's my daddy. First African American firefighter for the city of Hazel Crest, Illinois.
Hazel Crest.
Hazel Crest. But no, and it's like I got to sit there and watch him meet the president. He had a chance to meet President Clinton back in, I want to say this is like 1994. President Clinton came to our high school, and because he was a firefighter and because he was the first African, it was like one of those picture ops type deals, like more of an op type thing. But still, he got a chance to meet the president.
Awesome. Did he take a picture?
Yes, and I'm stoked. We were just talking about that the other day. This is why it's fresh on my head. So I have the picture. Dad, I have it. But where it's at. No, actually, when I moved here to Arizona, there's still a lot of stuff I have in storage back home in Chicago. So it's in storage in Chicago. So I have it. Okay. I just got to go get it.
All right. So,
but as soon as I get it, I will be showing it, y'all. I will be posting it. Trust me. Oh, I will be blasting it everywhere. Everywhere. Because, I at the time, because I didn't know, I was younger back then. This is why I said I had the conversation with my dad the other day. And, I started trying to look it up because of Black history. That's why all this is coming up, because of Black history. I was like, you know what? Let me find this picture. I know, maybe I could, with the internet now, maybe I can find it on the internet. Because I thought it was in a newspaper. But it wasn't in a newspaper. This photo came straight from the White House. Boom!
Got the White House logo and all that stuff on it?
Yes, got the White House logo on it.
Official
from the White House. I was like, I didn't know that. Mind you, I have the photo. But I did not know that it was an official White House photo. So that's what I did not know. And that's why we can't find it online. Straight from the White House. But there's so many people that also has attributed so much to our society. Like I said, it goes back to we just don't know. We're still trying to figure this out. It's like the light bulb and the street lights. And there is this one girl I know that she posts, it's like dentist, because she's in school to be a dentist. And because she's in school to be a dentist, I think she's doing more research on. There's so many African Americans that has done the first of as far as in dentistry that will blow your mind.
Right.
Like, really? We invented that too?
I mean, we invented a lot of stuff, but it's like, do they even get acknowledged for that stuff? You know, it's like, okay, if you say light bulb, okay, who invented the light bulb?
I know it was a black man.
Okay, so as of that, as a black man invented the light bulb, who's taking credit for it?
Edison. But you know, that's the way it has always worked. Just like technically, a black man invented Jack Daniels liquor. Nearest Dearest, I think his name was. Don't quote me on that. But I love the fact that they incorporated his story now into the history of Jack Daniels. Like if you go to the Jack Daniels compound, you go on the tour, they actually have the Nearest Dearest, whatever. I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong, as part of their history. So they incorporated it. Okay. So that is good. If you ever go to the Jack Daniels, you will be able to hear that story.
Yeah, that's good. We need to take credit for something. Man, I tell you. Man, you know what? Oh, did you know? Did you know about a guy named Carter Woodson?
No, who is Carter Woodson?
Carter Woodson was an American historian, author, journalist, and a founder of the Association of Studies of African American Life of History. He was one of the first scholars to study the history of African diaspora, including African American history, a founder of the Journal of Negro History in 1916.
Wow.
The father of black history.
No, did not know that. But you know what else I found out? Because when you said of Negro, you know, and it shook me right there. Because, you know, a lot of our stuff back then was either colored or Negro. And I'm trying to go back to it because I actually posted this the other day. And I was going to tell you about this because you're from, you're from here. You're from Arizona, from Phoenix. In 1966, Dr. Morrison Warren, a Phoenix colored high school valedictorian, also an ASU alum and a teacher, became the first person of African descent elected to the Phoenix Council. So there was a school here called Phoenix Colored High School.
Phoenix Colored High School.
Wow. I truly did not know that.
Yep.
So y'all had a high school here called Phoenix Colored High School. Why? I mean, I get it, but why?
Why, Sway?
You're right. Why, Sway? Phoenix Color, and there was somebody else. It was some woman here that went there too, and she became the first of to do something. But she went to the same high school, Phoenix Color High School.
Back in the day.
And you remember this high school?
I've heard of it.
Was this before your time?
It's way before my time.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I've heard of it though. Yeah. I mean, it's like you know, but back in the day when they had the only white water fountains, and then you have to go in the back to drink out of a water fountain or something like that.
This is only like what, 60 years ago, 70 maybe.
Yeah,
it wasn't that really long ago.
And it's like, that's crazy, and how to us it seems like forever, but in actuality,
it really wasn't that long ago.
Nope. I'm like,
we had to go through the service entrance. We couldn't go through the front door. You know, there was a whole, if people don't know, there was a whole movie about this. The Green Book. Do you know what the Green Book is? There's a whole movie about this.
Heard of that one.
Yeah, there's a whole movie about the Green Book. So the Green Book was as African Americans, black people, our travel guide. If you want to go road tripping, if you want to go on the road and go on vacation, you took a green book that showed you where you can stop as far as food, travel lodge, hospitality, hotels, vacation spots, beaches to go to, you know, anything as far as traveling. There was a green book that you took with you. so you know where not to go to and where to go
What
to.
areas were restricted from you?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
We had a whole
Green
book
huh? To tell you.
to show us where to go and where not to go.
Wow.
And they wonder why we are the way we are today.
So do they have one to say, okay, this is this neighborhood, you don't go in this neighborhood over here, you don't go over here, they don't have nothing like that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
And it's crazy we had to have things like that. And the fact that it was not that long ago, like, you figure my dad was born in 1953.
Okay.
And when was Martin Luther King era? When was he assassinated? Was it 1965?
1960, I want to say 68.
So yeah, and that's what the civil rights era, the civil rights movement. So my dad was born before that and during this, really, the start and beginning of it. So, he remembers a lot of this stuff. And he's talked to me about a lot of this stuff.
Because I know that's when, what was that? Malcolm X had arose to his, I think that's when,
I bet you if we ask Tim C, he's going to know all these dates.
Yeah. It was 1968, April 4th,
1968. So, yeah.
Memphis, Tennessee.
My dad was born in 53. So he experienced, unfortunately, some of this,
Yeah.
But think about now, my granddad was, born, you figure, in 1929. So imagine from 1929 all the way until then, what they really had to experience, and then go back further. It really wasn't that long ago. People were like, oh, well, get over it. Get over it. It was such a long time ago. No, my granddad that used to bounce me on his knees, y'all used to treat him like.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy,
So,
get on over here, boy. Come on over here.
What's even more crazy is the fact that now my dad was telling me about his great-grandfather, and he remembers being bounced on his great-grandfather's knee, which was a white man, which was the slave owner. So it just shows you how it's really not that long ago. That was his great-grandfather. So, yeah. Used to be the slave owner.
So he was a houseboy?
Well, the story goes that, my great-great-great-grandmother, obviously was a slave. She was the house slave, and she wound up marrying the massa. And that's how we got here. But that story happens all the time. Happens all the time. Either they got married. Now it's like, did they get married, or was it something forced, or And back then they were raping.
Oh yeah.
They were raping their property. Oh man! Speaking about property, while we're talking about Black History Month, I actually sat there and watched Amistad again. I know Amistad is such an old movie. Amistad, give us free. Give us free. But I sat there and watched it again. Now as I'm watching, I'm having, obviously better understanding now as an adult, so I haven't seen it since I was years. And I sat there and watched it like, man, we were literally property. And you had all these different entities come in, like they got arrested, for whatever. They tried to do a mutiny, the story. They tried to do a mutiny, and you had all these different people then come into the courtroom. No, I own them. No, they are the property of the Queen of Spain. No, we took charge of them over here in Jamaica. No, we are the official property of that, owners of that property. Property. Which means that as far as property, you can do away with your property. There's no law of a human right if you are a property.
Yeah.
Like I got stuck for a second because it's like literally like we're property.
And then back, what was it? It was on the news that they had this one couple was trying to get back into that whole slavery mentality.
They're trying to do it now.
And so they had brought people so that they can, be their slaves pretty much and everything, trying to bring it back. And then they had, I guess the government, the officials and stuff, they caught wind of it and everything and, stopped them from doing it.
Yeah.
Because they said it was illegal.
Yeah, yeah. I want to tell you a story. So, before Atlanta, before Tulsa, we all know about the story of Tulsa and Black Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
How the white people were basically just did not like the fact that there was a thriving African American community.
Mm-hmm.
Before Rosewood, the story of Rosewood,
Rosewood,
Florida.
right.
There was a place called Wilmington, North Carolina. Have you ever heard that story?
Wilmington, no.
Exactly. We know Rosewood. We know Tulsa, right?
Mm-hmm.
So prior to November 10th, 1898, Wilmington, North Carolina was not only North Carolina's most populous city, it was also most progressive. Black people served in various government positions, owned and operated a black newspaper, the Wilmington Record, as well as many other successful businesses. Wilmington witnessed an unusual number of affluent black families, but most importantly, Wilmington demonstrated the ability of black and white people alike to live together, work together, all this other stuff, coexist peacefully. At the time, North Carolina was enjoying a time what is now known as the Fusionist movement, where progressive Republicans had swept through North Carolina's legislation and governorship campaigning on free public schools for all children and equal political rights for all men. Like, does that sound like something that would have happened back then? No, right? It just sounds too good. We're still trying to get that now. And this is 2020 freaking 1.
21. That's right.
The most progressive North Carolina became the more old post-Civil War Democrats. This is when, like I think we mentioned this back when Trump was running, how at first the Republicans were, more African American people, more black people were becoming Republicans.
Yeah.
And it was the Democrats that were
history point of
actually
it.
the racist and, there was.
And now it flipped now.
Yeah, it was then that the mostly white supremacists were Democrats back then and began to plan a plot. And this is really that story, or a plot where they overthrew. It was led by none other than Wayne County's very own Charles B. Aycock. And your last name is Aycock, huh? And the News and Observer's Joseph Daniels. They embarked on a statewide campaign of hatred, holding rallies and publishing papers after paper. This was the beginning of that when we talk about how Republicans then changed and it was the Democrats, but then now it's the Republicans, how they did that switch and the Dixiecrats. That was that story. This is that story right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, a lot of people really don't know that story.
Man, we don't know a lot of stuff, okay? It's like, whatever is out there, this stuff, we're still trying to learn from this stuff. It's like, we be like, oh, man, I didn't know that. Oh, man, really? Oh, man. History, man, we need to start, well, I ain't going to say we, but I need to.
We got to go educate ourselves, right? It goes back to what I just said.
Yeah.
We need more as far as in the schools. Because we need our own history. How can we? Because it was lost.
But see, when you say we need our own history,
we need to know it. We need to understand it.
Okay.
It's like we can't just learn their history and think that that's all there is to know. Because there's more to it.
I mean, when we say history, I mean pioneers, legends, people that made a difference, made a change, in the culture. Now, you like people like Rosa Parks, okay, but there's a lady that did somewhat the same thing
Before Rosa Parks? I heard of something like that.
Yep. But Rosa Parks, the way it was structured, she became to the forefront because of how it went down and stuff. And so now, this lady on the bus, refused to give up her seat, refused to go in the back, so that right there was like, okay, I'm gonna make a stance. This is like, she was just tired.
That's it.
She was just tired. But you come over here and tell me to get up for somebody else? No. I got on this bus. I paid my due. I got it right here. I paid for the seat. But yeah, so that right there. This is why I brought her up. I brought her up because Rosa Parks and Stevie Wonder. Okay? Yeah, Stevie Wonder, you have Rosa Parks. They came to my high school in 92, 93, around 92.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's South Mountain High School. And so they came, both of them came to the high school, and I had the opportunity to stand there and shake their hand.
Nice.
Rosa Parks, Stevie Wonder.
Nice.
And that to this day, I was like, man, why wasn't Seffies big back then?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like now you don't miss nobody. Back then, you didn't get a whole lot of that. I was like, dang.
Wow.
But yeah, I was like, that's why I brought her up, because I was like, oh, see, I had the opportunity to meet her, you know, shake her hand and Stevie Wonder and all that. I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah.
There was also a guy named McKinley Thompson. McKinley Thompson. Probably never heard of him. He was the first major black car designer that worked for Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of your more iconic shapes like the Ford Bronco, Mustang, Thunderbird, the GT40 were all designed by him.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Black man. Like we can go through a list and all type of scenarios where it's like I didn't even know who that was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because of this is Black History Month. Obviously, you know, it's all this information is going to be out there, and you know, especially on Facebook, it's like this person. And you start researching, and you start googling these people. Like I had no clue, but it goes back to what we said at the beginning. We must educate ourselves.
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna talk about this one. You was talking about your family member, your daddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's your daddy.
So I'm gonna talk about my cousin. Okay. Now, back in the day, there was a company called Mountain Bell. Okay.
Phone or is this electricity? Phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And back in the day, that's before you got into the whole AT&Ts and the Quest and all the mother phone companies. Mountain Bell was here, right? Their office, literally, one of their offices was literally in South Phoenix, on Central and Southern, and there was a plaza area, the Peter Pipe Pizza Plaza, right over there, right next to the building over here is another building, separate building, a standalone building. It's an old building, and that was their building.
Okay.
Right there. So, the reason why I brought that up is because my cousin Erleen Rucker, she had put in request, not put in request, but she took them to court.
Okay.
Reason being was employment discrimination.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm. So, and that kept going. It went to different courts and stuff like that. They kept, turning it down and all because of, you have this black woman and, with white folks and stuff like that. And they're like, okay, whatever. They kept dismissing it.
Yeah.
It's going down and down and down until it got to the Supreme Court.
Oh, nice.
She did appeals after appeals after appeals, and still she went to the Supreme Court, and she got it. She won Supreme Court. Now, that's some history for you.
That is some history, especially here in Arizona.
Right, and there's a book on Amazon. It's called "Crossing Over on the Shoulders of a Giant: American History," biography of the 1964 Title VII Civil Rights Act champion, Erleen Mitchell Rucker Crossland.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
All right, man.
Man.
I'm still impressed of your family lineage. I'm telling you, every time I turn around, there's somebody else famous in your family. Every time I turn around.
Well, it's just I don't know. They
Good
doing
stock.
their thing.
Good stock.
Yeah, they doing their thing. They're out there, trying to make a difference in not only in their life but their family lives, make their family lives better.
Good genes.
Just do your thing.
More historical facts. 1966, Clovis Campbell. I know we all know who that is. Clovis Campbell broke ground. He became the first African American elected to the Arizona State Senate.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So Clovis Campbell. That's
All right,
another one.
Clovis.
Right?
All right. What about this man right here, Thurgood Marshall?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Man, you know what though? You know, after I was like looking at him and stuff, I didn't know he did a lot of stuff he had did, because I was only familiar with him being a civil rights activist.
Hmm.
You know?
Also a Prince Hall Mason, one of our brothers.
And then, yep, and he was on the Supreme Court justice for the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know there's a movie about him.
Yeah, Thurgood Marshall.
Thurgood Marshall, yeah. Make sure I go see that. That was actually a good movie. That was a good movie.
Yeah, I was like, man, I saw that. I was like, okay, Mr. Thurgood. Okay.
You know the story of Lois and Clark, the explorers?
Lois and Clark.
Or Lewis and Clark?
No.
You never heard that? I know they taught you that in school, brother. The ones that pretty much charted,
so that
America.
tells you how much I paid attention. You know. Yeah.
Well, they're the one part of the expedition that across America. There was a guy that was also a part of this expedition. His name was York. He was a black man.
Okay.
As William Clark, which was Lewis and Clark. As William Clark's slave from boyhood, he participated as a full member of the expedition and was present when the expedition reached the Pacific Ocean.
Right.
So yeah, he was an intricate part of that, and nobody talks about him. Like, we don't even know who York is. There's a whole statue of him in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh wow. Okay.
But a lot of people don't even know who that is, and they probably walk past it every day.
They probably do. I mean, they have a sign up there, right? The little plaque that tells you what he.
Oh yeah,
who he is,
like a lot of people are just gonna go up there and read it. You know what? I'm actually glad you mentioned that, because I actually do stuff like that. So there's like these trails. You go up the mountain here, and sometimes there's different plaques you can read, and there's so much information on these plaques of who did this or how this was founded here. Like, Arizona has a lot of history people just don't know about.
Yeah. I mean, there's a park called Veterans Park, and when you walk their trails and stuff on the sides and the trails and stuff, they have the little plaque and all that stuff, and it gives you a little history of certain things, certain people, certain facts, minor facts, and all that stuff. Yeah. So I was like, okay. Now, do you know? Okay, you remember this one? What is her name? Amanda Gorman?
No.
Amanda, something like that.
Am I supposed to know?
Well, yeah.
Who is she?
She is the first black young lady, who did the poetry at the inauguration of the president.
Yeah. Okay, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yes. Forgot her name. Yes, I know exactly who that is.
Miss Gorman. Yes, she stood there in front of millions of people and did her poetry at the president's inauguration. That's history.
And you know what else? There was a family here, because I know he was one of our lodge brothers as well for Prince Hall Masonry. But his name is Lincoln Ragsdale, Eleanor Ragsdale, Lincoln Ragsdale. Do you remember them?
I've heard of the Ragsdales.
The Ragsdales,
Yeah.
civil rights leaders. So Phoenix civil rights leaders, Eleanor and Lincoln, they both were.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of the Ragsdales.
They broke a lot of racial barriers here. So, Lincoln, he served as one of the Tuskegee Airmen back in World War II. And I know he came back and he started a bunch of businesses. I think he owned like some morgues back in the day, but he came back, and I know him and his wife were prolific here in Phoenix. Like, there's a building named after him at the airport.
At the airport. Which one?
Ragsdale. Is the airport? So there's a building here named after him. Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that one up.
Yeah, he was a black funeral home. That's him. He was a funeral home owner.
Got Ragsdale High School.
Or maybe that's what it is. There was something named after him.
No, this one's Lucy Ragsdale. What was his name?
Lincoln Johnson Ragsdale.
If y'all know who he is, please let me know. Because I need to. All right. So Lincoln Johnson Ragsdale Sr. was an influential leader in the Phoenix area civil rights movement, known for his outspokenness. Ragsdale, what did he do? Let's see. Outspoken. Ragsdale was instrumental in various reform efforts in the Valley, including voting rights and the.
Oh, there, I found it. So the executive terminal at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport was renamed the Lincoln J. Ragsdale Executive Terminal in his honor. You know where the president comes into? That one building?
Terminal 2.
Yeah.
Well, it ain't Terminal 2 no more, but.
Yeah, right over there. That was
right over there. Yeah.
That was his name on that building.
Ah.
And you worked there all these years and did not know that.
I did not know that. That tells you how much I pay attention to those buildings.
Yeah. So I know. I was like, yeah, I know. He said it's in Phoenix. It was at the airport.
Okay. Well, hey, Mr. Ragsdale. Yeah, that's good to know.
So once again, things we just don't know. That's right here in our own backyard.
Mm-hmm.
It's right here in our own backyard. And all you guys sometimes have to do is just go look. Because the reason why I knew about it was because, once again, he was one of our lodge brothers as far as Prince Hall Masonry. Mm-hmm. And I remember his face and his name on one of the walls. Mm-hmm. And it was like one of those days I'm driving to work and I seen the name on the side of the building. I'm like, wait a minute. Is that? And I wanted to know, was that the same guy? Mm-hmm. So then I went back to the lodge. I talked to some brothers. Like, yeah, that's him. And they, named his honor. They told me a few things. I didn't really know a whole lot, but I knew he owned those the morgues. He owned a string of morgues. So that much I do remember. So
okay. So do you know anything about Ella Baker?
No.
All right. Ella Baker was a human rights in the name after the brilliant black hero of the civil rights freedom movement, who inspired and guided emerging leaders. Yep. And she was, she built the power of black, brown, and poor people to create solutions for one of the biggest drivers in injustice today, mass incarceration.
Yep. We've done a lot for society. Mm-hmm. Just like FUBU. Remember the clothing brand FUBU?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to make a comeback. So anybody that's wearing FUBU, you're not going to get laughed at anymore. I'm just saying, you're not going to get laughed at anymore. And FUBU is coming back. So you've been at the club wearing this FUBU and people laughing at you. You know what? Keep it in the closet. It's coming back. Oh, man. Then we had Tessica Brown. You know what Tessica Brown is?
Tessica Brown, no.
Yes, she is the first person to put Gorilla Glue in her hair.
Oh, that is something right there. Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Okay.
I just had to throw that in there.
That's funny.
Yeah, I just had to, it's the first person in history that doesn't know what Gorilla Glue is. Now, we got some idiots in our culture.
Okay, but let me put this out there. This is for Yanajaha. Okay. Now we're supposed to have Yanajaha on the broadcast today. So we're still trying to get her on here, but she's supposed to be on here. But she has something really important to do today. She just let me know that. Well, she did let me know that she had a funeral to go to, and then at that same person's funeral, they did a march for him. So they're currently doing that now at out there in Atlanta. So she's out there right now doing the march and all that. Because if y'all familiar with the Yanajaha, you know how she is when it comes to protesting and being an activist in the community and all that. I mean, she's a diehard. So and hey, that's more important than what we have here.
Right.
So.
Right.
But
we'll get her back.
Right. So basically, if she's not able to do it today, then we most definitely will get her up on here. All right. Keep doing your thing, girl. Keep doing it.
Okay. Then, bring it up to more current news. And I know I mentioned, lightly about Tim C, but Tim C wound up being the first African American mayoral candidate for the city of Phoenix.
Right.
So shouts out to Tim C, living legend right now.
Right. You know what though? Speaking of that, Meryl, how you say that, Meryl?
Mayoral candidate.
Mayoral candidate. That did you hear about that young kid, the 22-year-old
that was killed?
He found dead in his home.
Yes, I heard about that.
Mayor candidate.
He was
mayor
running for mayor.
candidate.
Yeah, I heard. I don't know the whole story, but I did hear something about that.
Yeah, I heard that too. I was like, what? That's crazy.
22 years old, just trying to, do something for the community. Once again, they won't let us be great. They won't let us be great.
He must have been really powerful.
He was about to win.
Yeah.
He was about to win.
Yeah, and I was like, wow.
While we're talking about people running for offices, I actually have someone else, in my family. Well, my kid's family. So my ex-wife, her, so it'd be my kid's uncle. Her sister's husband was the first his name is Maylin Mitchell. He was the first African-American and youngest to run for lieutenant governor of Wisconsin a few years back.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Then he became, once again, Maylin Mitchell became the youngest and first African-American to run for governor of Wisconsin. Now, unfortunately, he lost both of them. But he still holds his current title, which he is still the first and youngest African-American to hold the title of firefighter union president for the state of Wisconsin. So he runs the firefighter union in the state of Wisconsin.
So Wisconsin don't want a black...
The man is still trying. Okay, so y'all hear that name? That is my kid's uncle right there. That's family right there. Maylin Mitchell, another first African American doing his thing, and young. He's still young. I mean, he's what, maybe 3-4 years older than me. Like, he's not that much older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. It was a painting that I saw that Gisette had what they're doing, the murals. Yeah. And there was a painting of Harriet Tubman. When I saw that painting, and I was like, okay, what is that on her shoulders and stuff? And I was like looking, and I was like, oh wow, those are people and stuff. And I was like, okay. And then it was like saying that the people represent all the people that she carried over to the promised land to pretty much got them free. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's deep.
You know what? Speaking about Gisette, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I actually was going to mention, you remember how we were doing the fighting to have the Black Lives Matter painted on the streets here, and she was the part of that movement here for that. And it wound up, we got shut down by city council, but she wound up doing it a different way, where she did murals. There's a bunch of, like what you're talking about, there's a bunch of murals that she has commissioned, that she had a bunch of artists throughout, Phoenix help with all of this. So there is 28 historic now black murals that came out of this. It went from just doing Black Lives Matter painting to she has 28 of these historic black murals all over Phoenix. And so tomorrow, let's see, it is happening tomorrow, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's the Black History Matters mural crawl. So we're going to go to all these different murals and, look at it, see it. But let me just read it here so y'all know it's join us for as we visit a select group of the 28, so not going to be all of them, just a few of them, select 28 historic black murals. You'll have a chance to meet the artists, mural hosts, and creators of the project, which one of them is Gisette Knight, while observing the terrific artwork and visiting the key and historical landmarks. So if you go to the AZNO page for Facebook, you will definitely see the invite for it. Definitely get it if you're free tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow we're going to be we got something else going on that me and you're going to be doing, but I was going to stop by it before I came out, that way, just to stop by and check out to see what they're doing. So come out and see me. I'll be there. They're gonna more information will be on the Facebook page to exactly where it'll be at.
Awesome. Awesome.
Gazette night.
Gazette night.
Black History Matters Mule, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Go ahead, Miss Knight. Do your thing.
I mean, she's
She's doing it. She's doing it.
Like every time you see something, there she is again. Just at night. And then she won some type of award from the Phoenix Suns.
Yes, they did. I saw that. On there. Yeah, they gave her, one of the players had presented a award to her, and I was like, oh wow. And he presented it. I mean, it was virtual, but it still meant
Welcome
a lot.
to 2020. 2021 now.
So, but yeah, I mean, he hooked it up, got that award and everything, presented it to her, and hey, I was like, man, okay, Gisette.
Gisette doing her thing. But, before I get away, because I'm so glad that I was supposed to mention that, there's something else I was supposed to mention here, and that is who we'll be having on our show next week.
Okay. So
it's a new group coming out. I'm not going to mention any names right now, but the name of their podcast is, they have a podcast. It's called Pardon the Flagrancy. It's a more of a sports podcast based out of here in Phoenix, but they talk about other things, but mostly it's about sports. And I know that March Madness is coming up here, and it's all about sports, March Madness.
Right.
So we're gonna bring them on the show here next week just to introduce them. Make sure you go check out their podcast called Pardon the Flagrancy. So we're gonna bring that crew in here.
Awesome.
Next week.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all tune in. Hey.
More black folks trying to, make it, do things positive here in Phoenix.
I mean, all year since we've been here, a year and some change, we've always talked about supporting one another, and especially us folks, we supporting, especially us, supporting one, support, and because we don't get a lot of that. I mean, they say, "Oh, we support." Okay. I'm still waiting.
Still waiting? That's true, unfortunately.
So, but, I mean, when we say we support. Hey, whatever you're doing, it's like, if you're doing the same thing we doing, we support you. If you're doing whatever you're doing, we support. Hey, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Support. But, all right, Maya Angelou.
Everybody knows Maya Angelou.
Yes, this great woman. Man, she is like, the stuff that she's written, and even though she wrote a lot of stuff that, created towards the women, they were inspiring, just to hear those words and what she was saying in those words, because when we speak, these speaks are words that will pierce the soul, because if you get in somebody's soul, then you got them.
Yeah.
So, and that's what she was doing with her words. And it's like, man, she used those words. I mean, words are powerful.
Yeah.
And man, if you can just, man.
Amazing poet. Amazing poet.
Go ahead, woman. Yeah, man. Rest in peace. All right. Who else do we got here? Mr. Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson. You know that movie
46?
42.
42? I knew that. Just trying to make sure you're on your toes.
Right?
That's how you play it off. That's how you play it off.
Oh man. Okay. But yeah, Jackie Robinson now. We all familiar with Jackie Robinson being a top-notch baseball player and everything, But he is the first African American to play Major League Baseball. Was he though?
Was there someone else? You know, there's always gonna be somebody else.
Exactly. But they brought up Jackie Robinson because he's the first one to hit the fame, the spotlight. So they spotlighted him, which is okay, it's all good. You know, it's a black man and he did his thing. You know, and stuff like that. But you know, before him, you know, there were other people that that was in the game too and all that stuff, but they wasn't major league.
Yeah.
You know, they was like that. What's that? That D1 league or the minor leagues or stuff like that. No,
Yeah.
all that.
Well, my grandfather played for the Negro League. He played for the Birmingham Barracudas.
Barracudas. Yeah, I heard of that name. Barracudas.
Birmingham Barracudas. So, yeah, played with them. So that's you know part of history as well.
See,
You know, he was supposed to had gone on to go play in the majors, but you know, those doggone Jehovah's Witnesses.
Keep you from doing a whole lot of stuff.
Just don't know, man.
You know, kept me from getting Christmas presents.
Man.
Don't you know? I was like, Mama, what? What are you doing?
Like, come on, man. So we have, you know, I was mentioning I had a friend that was all this month she's been, because she's going into dentistry. She was reporting all these first African Americans of. So there's one her name is Gertrude Elizabeth Curtis. She will become not the first, but one of the first black female dentists in the nation.
Oh.
So and she was born in 1880, died in 1973.
Okay.
So yeah, she was one of the first to become a dentist. I mean, you know, who really thinks about it's like that's what it's sad to say that in 2021, I said at the beginning of the show, we're at 2021, and we're still saying first black of in 2021.
First black. Yeah. Just like Robert H. Lawrence Jr. You know who he is?
No.
The first black American astronaut.
Oh wow! Wait, what's his name again?
Robert H. Lawrence Jr.
Oh wow! And what was this?
1967.
Wow.
June 30th, 1967.
Wow, did not know that.
Yep.
See? Didn't know that. Then they made that whole movie with the Hidden Figures, how there was, you know, those black women.
I still haven't seen it. I saw previews of it, but I haven't actually seen the
bro.
movie.
Bro, it's a good movie.
Okay.
Actually, I was supposed to go watch it yesterday, but I'm gonna go see it maybe sometime this weekend. The Judas Messiah.
Oh yeah.
Fred Hampton story.
I think I've seen some of it. I turned
I've been hearing it's a must-see movie.
Yeah,
people go see it.
That's what it was. It was the preview of it. That's what I saw of it. Because I mean, you can watch it on HBO Max and stuff like that. And so I just be at home and just watching all kind of stuff. So yeah, turn that HBO Max on and just start. Yep, the Hidden Figures is on there. Judas is on there. Also, what's that one supposed to be coming out? John Wick. John Wick.
Oh, John Wick.
Yeah, that's supposed to be coming out too. But I think that's next year though. Yeah, John Wick 4.
Oh, you talking about that?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, at first African Americans my head is somewhere else, and John Wick. Yeah, that's gonna be good. Hey, do not mess with a man's dog.
Right? Don't mess with his car either.
Don't mess with his car. Don't mess with his dog. It's one of those. They said, hey, if you want somebody to represent you or fight for you, who do you want? I want John Wick.
Right.
Because all I'm going to do is take his dog and tell him, he did it. Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Shoot.
But here's something that we're thinking of doing. I'm just going to put it out there because we were thinking about doing it. And I just want to see how y'all feel about it. So we are wanting to give people, once again, because we here at AZNO, we like to, look out for people, help people in need. But, what we want to do is give people opportunity. So if you want the opportunity to showcase your skills as far as being a host, trying to get on the radio, you want your shot, here's your opportunity. We want to see about giving you a shot of hosting AZNO.
Okay. Okay. What is just like just I can just be like, okay, I want my shot to host AZNO.
No.
That's all I need to
Well,
do.
we're just going to be some vetting. Definitely, inbox us. Let us know. Email us at azno@gmail.com. Send us something. Send us some information. Send us something about yourself. If you have anything that you've done as far as any type of hosting, send it so we can see what you have. And let's see if we can give you a shot. See if you got what it takes to be a host.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. I mean, hey,
we're still working out the details, but more to come. But like I said, we're trying to test it out, and we'll see what happens. We're gonna come back to you. We're gonna think about it here. We'll come back to you next month, and we'll give more details.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh man, I'm excited about that.
You excited? So excited! Kevin Hart, man, I love Kevin Hart. So excited. That's another man. A lot of people are like iffy about Kevin Hart. I love Kevin Hart. That little man funny. It's because he's so short. It's like so much like energy out of this little guy. Like he's funny.
Remember when we did the interview with that Tuskegee Airman?
The gentleman that was Tuskegee Airman. Yeah.
Now him, I'm like, when I saw like these older airplanes and stuff like that, it reminded me of him and stuff, and how he was talking about the whole experience about back then having to fly them around and everything. And I was like, oh man, that must have been like one of those experiences that you just like, wow, all these black men getting, man.
That was a good movie too, but and just like the Buffalo Soldiers, there's actually a lot of stories like that. Even as far as the Army, where you had the first black platoon of this and that and the other. It was a story I just went past it. I can't find it now. Where it was a squadron of, I should have mentioned it when I saw it. Parachute. What are those people called where they parachute out of airplanes? Paratroopers.
The paratroopers.
There was a squadron of paratroopers in World War One. Was it World War One? Yeah, World War One. That became obviously the first first colored division of, and they wound up doing all these great things. You know how the story goes.
So tell me this. So, in the wars, why is it? You had all kind of, you had the whites, you had the blacks, you had in the wars, right? But the ones who got the most attention was the blacks. Why is that? They got the most attention because they were the forefront. They put them in the front.
Wow. Because they wanted them to get killed for, because we're expendable. But instead of being expandable, we changed the outcome. Bars.
There you go.
Bars. You know what? This goes back to what I was telling you right before we went on the show. It was like, just like the word, the N-word. It's like, they were like, well, you guys say it to each other. How come you guys say it to each other? Isn't that bad? We took something bad and tried to make it. I'm not saying it was right, but we tried to turn it into a term of endearment. We tried to take something bad and turn it into good. Just like food. Back in the day, they used to give us the scraps. We turned them scraps and turned it into soul food.
Oh, man. Make a meal out of that.
Make a whole meal, out of scraps. So, it's like everything they try to do to us to as negative, we turn it into a positive. And that's why African Americans are the most resilient race on the planet of this earth. The most resilient. We can turn anything bad and turn it good. And it's like the more of this that happens, and then all of a sudden, white folks, all of a sudden now they want to copy that and either say it's theirs or, just they don't like us, but they want to be us so bad. They hate everything about us but love our culture. Say we can't wear our hair a certain way, and turn around, they do the same thing just a little bit different. And then say it's fashion.
That's the trend. Yeah. You're right.
Like they say, the black dollar is the most important dollar on the face of this planet is the black dollar. But we can't even have our own. But yet the black dollar is so important. That don't make no sense.
It was so funny and how I found out that how that is. Every time when they said, when they tell everybody, don't go by, all the black folks don't go by. And
we changed history doing that.
And at first I didn't get that. I'm like, why did they want us to go by? I mean, it's just a store. Go buy some food. Go buy some milk.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? And then later on, I started to find out the reason why they say that is because of the population of the black race when it comes to going and buying, because we spend way more money. Billions and billions of dollars just going to buy out at these department stores and
whatever
all
it
that,
is. Mm-hmm.
So we go and spend all that money, and so by us keeping our money and don't buy on a certain day, then pretty much those companies will go into the red.
Mm-hmm. Going to default.
Yes. And so I was like, wow.
Just like the voting.
That's powerful.
If anything just happened in this last election, the last few elections, really, African Americans came out in force.
Yeah.
And the number, it's not even, should I say the black dollar, it's the black female is the most powerfulest. Because the black female is what changed the course as far as even politics. Because that vote, the black vote, changed things.
Yeah.
Well, we need to do that more often, not at just certain intervals. If we can do that all the time and just not be so against each other, because that was something that was taught to us. It's like they always say, well, how come y'all hate each other? How come y'all killing each other? How come y'all can't just work together? Well, it's unfortunately, it's a mentality that was drilled into us during slavery. What was it? Isn't there I know I should know this. The Jim Crow law, or what was that book called where they taught you how to divide the black household, where if you do this, then you will control the black man for the next 300 years.
Yeah, that one I'm not too familiar. I'm not too too familiar with it, but I did hear about that.
Teaching how to buck your males and things like that, and keeping the black woman away from the males. It's like they did these things, just like in the what was it, the 80s with the what is that called, Section 8 housing. Before 60s and 50s, 60s, and 70s, it was black families. Black families were becoming prominent. They were thriving. They were becoming successful. And then they said, wait, hold on. Pump your brakes. Pump your brakes. They're getting a little bit too powerful there. Wait, hold on.
Right.
And then crack epidemic. And then Section 8 housing. You know what? You too can have free housing by us, but you can't live with the black man. Started what is happening even to this day.
But look at it. When it comes to Section 8, okay, now, why is it that when it comes to Section 8, they put the Section 8 in the worst areas there could be?
Yeah, they put it in the hoods. They put it in the ghetto. They want us to be in the ghetto because they want those areas. That's like what regentrification. Because I watched it. I grew up in one of those areas. It's no secret. I grew up in a white neighborhood. Most of my neighbors were white. I came from a white affluent area, and then slowly, I watched all the white people move out and more black folks move in. It's like where I grew up, you can't even say that hard. Like, where you from? I'm from Hazelcrest. I grew up in Hazelcrest. Yeah, you can't even say that hard. But now you go look at Hazelcrest now, and it's like, no, it's the hood now. But it's like they do that kind of stuff where it's like, we want this area over here. You know what? That's the redlining. That's what it's called, redlining. They redlined us, so it's like they pushed us into certain areas so they could take over. Just like in Chicago, when they first like the most of the downtown area was black, and they start moving out to the burbs. So you figure 650, 60, 70 is moving out to the burbs,
Right.
and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now we're gonna send the black folks out to the burbs. We're gonna literally, I watched it. They gave a bunch of black folks Section 8 housing in the burbs, and they start trying to take back over the city. So now we had this place called Cabrini Greens. I know everybody's heard of Cabrini Greens. It's like the worst projects you could be in. Like they had snipers on the roof. Like this is true. I've seen it.
Snipers.
They had snipers on the roof. Nino Brown in this mug. Nino Brown. No, and it's like now they tore all that down, moved them all out to the burbs, and now you got white people running with their dogs down the street in Cabrini Greens, like $500,000 houses in Cabrini Greens. It's like I think it's called like Cabrini Gardens now or something like that. I watched.
So they cleaned it up. Huh?
Cleaned it up. It looks nice. It looks awesome. You should see it. It's a great neighborhood. But back in the day, they were afraid to go there. Black folks were afraid to go there. If you're not from there, you didn't go to the Cabrini Greens.
Right.
I had to get escorted into Cabrini Greens.
That's like going to the south side or the west side.
Yeah.
It's like if you wasn't from there, then it's like, man, I ain't going over there.
Don't go over there.
That's crazy. That's wow.
Red line, that's what it's called.
But see, speaking of that though.
Before you go into that, I'm so sorry because I was leading up to something. Is a lot of people don't realize they did the same thing at New York with what's that big park in New York?
Island. Ellis Island?
Not Ellis Island, the park where you can go in the middle of New York.
Oh, Central Park.
Central Park. Did you know Central Park was an African American city?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
And they basically slaughtered. They just took it. They didn't even they just slaughtered them, killed everybody, made them move out, and turned it into a park.
So is that why people are afraid to go to the park because they're trying to get revenge of what they did to them?
Yeah, there's a lot of ghost stories. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I want to take this from us. Okay, we gonna get
it was a thriving community, African, and once again, kind of like Tulsa. Every time they saw a thriving African American community, they took it. Grand Park. I didn't even know that. Or what's it called again? Central Park.
Central Park.
I didn't even know that. Wow. So what was you getting into?
Oh, when you was talking about the whole in real estate and all that stuff like that, this one lady came to mind. Her name is Mary Ellen Pleasant, and Miss Pleasant was an entrepreneur and activist. She may have begun her life as a slave in 1810 in Georgia. Okay, but the reason why I mentioned her was because what she did. Because, all right, she worked as a cook and a servant in a rich people's home. That's why when you had mentioned the whole suburb and all that stuff, I was like, okay. And then, so she worked as a servant in the rich people's home until she was able to start her own border house, which would be the first of many. Pleasant was a familiar fixture in the housing and wealthy during the period of the gold rush, as were the servants she began to train and place there. And it said that she used the information she gained for her own proximity to wealth to increase her own assets. So basically, she invested her money. And started her personal fortune based on stock, real estate, and a series of businesses, including laundries and food establishments, and made her one of the growing city major entrepreneurs. At her peak, she was estimated to be worth $30 million.
Oh, wow.
See, she did that.
What was her name?
Mary Ellen Pleasant.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, and she did that after after her husband had died. He was young when he died. Yeah. And so.
That reminds me of Madam C.J. Walker.
Mm-hmm. But see, with Madam C.J. Walker, her husband helped her and everything until he got to a point that he couldn't control her like that, and so he left. But yeah, she was a self-made millionaire. She made herself. She got her business and everything, and and build it up.
Yeah.
You know, and
You want me to tell you who else was a hustler? Yeah, like the first African American of the movie Princess and the Frog.
oh my gosh.
Wait, no. Hear me out. Wait, check it out, right? So you remember the movie Princess and the Frog? So she was, a black woman, Louisiana. So the reason why I said, because I had saw something on Facebook and I was like, I didn't even think about that. So you have all these Disney princesses, right? And they were all white. But they were all damsels in distress. They always needed some shining man in armor to come rescue them, right? Sleeping Beauty, Seven, Snow White. They always needed somebody to come rescue them. But Princess and the Frog, she was a Disney princess, but she was a hustler. She owned her own restaurant. She didn't need no man to help her do anything. She went out and got that herself and created her own business. That's why I respect her. I just had to. I was like, you know what? That was dope. It was like not only were we, that was the first black Disney princess, but they didn't do it in a way where she needed help. She went out and did that on her own.
So they made it to the point that she was independent.
She was independent
of it, and she made it. I mean, it's a yeah. That's a life growing analogy of it. Yeah. I mean, like the whole Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Just with that, I mean, having young ladies follow her with that, and the footsteps on, not to the point of being in the White House or nothing like that, but just pretty much saying that, okay,
you can do anything.
If I want to be this astronaut, if I want to be this doctor, top surgeon, if I want to be this top prosecutor or whatever, on a higher level, you're able to do that. So I mean, don't feel like you're not able to do anything when you're able to do anything plus some. So it's like, man, that's with anybody though.
So speaking about that, what was her name? May Carol Jameson, the first black female astronaut.
Oh,
Remember her?
Mm-hmm.
She was gorgeous, still is. She was the first female African American to travel in outer space. So yeah. Let's bring it back home. Like we're talking about Phoenix. So you have the Tempe mayor, which is Corey Woods, became the first African American mayor for Tempe, and then he appointed the first African American police chief, which is Jeff Glover. He's now the first African American police chief for Tempe.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think I might have to move to Tempe. Tempe coming up in the world like elevators. That's going to be the new hotspot.
Tempe.
Like Tempe is a beautiful city.
It is. I like. Well, see, Tempe. I like because I've lived in Tempe for a long time. It was Tempe and then Chandler. I like Chandler. Chandler's always been okay. He's been nice. Tempe and Chandler. Mesa reminds.
Don't go to Mesa.
Yeah, Mesa reminds me of a broke down West Side.
Yeah, they're older. It's an older community, like Apache Junction and stuff like that. It's an older community.
So stuff like that. But I mean, Tempe and Chandler. Yeah, those are some really good cities.
And then we have Councilman O.D. Harris, one of
the
first African American. O.D. Harris. One of the first African Americans to become city council for the city of Chandler. While I was speaking of Chandler, that's her name, Opal Ellis, and that's why I was trying to remember. Are you related to her?
Opal? I don't know.
So that was the other one. Did you know in 1945, Opal Ellis and 5 other Phoenix Union colored high school students held a sit-in for 6 days at a coffee shop at Central Avenue and Adams Street. They wanted to bring attention to their being denied service at the coffee shop simply because they were African Americans. This was the first for her, and then she went on to become committed to civil rights and fair treatment and justice for African Americans. So she went on and had a successful career.
That's awesome. Opal, O-P-A-L?
Opal Ellis.
Awesome.
I see part of those efforts that she did accumulated at the Matthew Henson Public Housing Project, where she caught the attention of politicians to convince them that South Phoenix needed their help. So she was an advocate here in Phoenix. Yeah, that's who I was like. I know it was somebody else that went to that color school because it just like hit me like right here. Like there was literally a school called Phoenix Colored High School.
Oh.
Phoenix Union Colored High School.
Wow, that's crazy. How it's crazy on how a name can deter. Like a name was like that. The color school.
Mm-hmm.
It's like wow. I already know who named it like that, but still, it's like the whole thing just color school. But it's one of those things that back then, that's how it was. It was like it was normal back then.
Yeah.
How we will look at it today is like, whoa, why would they do that? Hold on, But we can't really get into all that because that's how it was. So, but hey, it is what it is. Mm-hmm.
So I saw this story and I should have remembered it, but it was one man, I don't remember his name, but there was the first African American that was elected to, I want to say it was at the Senate, way back in like the 1800s, or back when they were still Republicans. But I forget the name or whatever. But I know he was African American and Native, and he wound up being literally the first black person in the Senate. That you figure this is early 1800s, actually, early 1800s.
The first black senator.
Yes. So I'd like to say I forgot the name, but I had ran across that earlier. It was the fact that he was black and Native, and became the first person of color.
Awesome.
And we already talked. Did we talk about Calvin C. Good?
Calvin C. Good? No, we did not.
First black city council, I believe, for Phoenix.
Yep.
So man, it's
Mr.
just
good.
Man, we can just keep going on and on and on and on and on. It goes back to we just don't know, and it's like a lot of these little in all over America, all these little communities. Because only because we live here, we know some of these, right? But if you go to any community in the United States of America, there's always going to be a first black that did this, did that you really don't know and don't hear about.
I'm gonna bust somebody's bubble, okay?
Who that is, Harper?
I'm gonna bust somebody's bubble. Now, when we talk about blacks and what they've done and what where they're going and all that stuff, which is awesome, okay? And the things that they start, that they begin. The first to do this, the first to do that, But then we have to look at this. Who was the first group of people to start the NAACP?
Actually, it was some white folks, right? Yeah. That much I did know.
Yep. It was white folks who started the NAACP. The NAACP.
That I'm a proud member of. Thank you very much.
So
West Valley.
And then from that point on, okay, just like how it's crazy and how a black person can start something and the whites will take it. How the white folks start this, and why is it the black folks took it over? Because why? It was meant for. They started it for the blacks. They started it for that, but then they had started to get involved more into it, and so it ventured out to more of. It just worked out to the point that it took over. The blacks took over.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was just a little history fact.
Yeah. Once again, a lot of people just don't know.
So yeah, man. I know, because I need to learn a lot of stuff. Like how you was talking about Madam C.J. Walker. Yeah, how she was the first U.S. woman to become the self-made millionaire.
Off of hair products.
Off of hair products.
Hair products. That just lets you know that women love their hair products. Love it.
Yep. And George Washington Carver, who derived nearly 300 products from the peanuts. From peanuts. The things we do. then we can make a lot of money on
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if we just stick to it and just do it. Keep that stick to itness.
But you know, we're like that as a people, man. We're like, that's why I said, you know, we can take things that are negative, turns it positive. Like a lot of people didn't even realize that it was black people that built the White House.
Yeah, yeah. They, you know, they built a White House.
Literally,
a White House.
Built the White House.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
I remember when Michelle Obama was talking about that. We were living in the house that slaves built. That's still when she said that, it still stuck with me.
Yep, that's like wow.
And a lot of us didn't know that. That's something we did not know. You know, we literally built America. We built this country.
Yeah.
On the backs of us.
The sweat of the brow. Yeah.
But yet we can't even get, you know, common decency. I'm going to tell you a story. It's not a good story. It's not a good story, but it's something that happened to me. Okay. Because I've always said, because I never really noticed it till I moved to this state. But I noticed, like, ever since I moved to this state, and you know, it's probably other places, but I never really noticed it. So, you know, I can say it doesn't happen everywhere. I personally did not notice it till I moved to this state. Was that getting carded? You know, when you get carded at a gas station, you know, you're going to buy some cigarettes or some liquor or whatever, you know, you get carded. But I noticed that I was only getting carded by white people. Like, I never got carded by somebody of any other descent but white people. Like, I didn't notice it till I moved here. And I started like, why am I only getting carded by white people? Like, I was like, I think it's more of a racial thing. Or is it because we as black people look good for our age? You know, black don't crack. You know, we look good. You know, you can have somebody be 50, 60 years old, look like they 20. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how old are you again?
Yeah.
So I get it. Like, or is it, you know, they don't know how old we really are? Or is it more of a racial thing? But the reason why I brought that up, because I sat there and I watched this. So I'm in a gas station. This was a few weeks ago. And it was a white person at the counter. And it was two white people in front of me. And ironically, every one of them bought something where they needed to get carded. So the first one, hey, are you over? And I wasn't really, you know, like staring at it, but you know, you're standing there, you know, kind of listening, kind of doing your own thing. You know, I'm not thinking none of it. So the first one at the counter, hey, you know, are you over 21? Yes, I am. Okay, boom. Went on ahead and rang him up. Didn't even look at the ID. They just asked the question. So I was like, oh, you know, not thinking of it yet. So the next, you know, one that was in front of me, and you know, it was like I said, it was two white people in front of me. So that one went up to the counter. Same thing. Needed something. Hey, are you over the age of 21? Yes, I am. Okay, boom. Go ahead, ring them up. Then the one lady in front of me, she goes up. Same thing. Buy something that she need to get carded with. Hey, you got your ID? Yes, I do. Okay, rings them up. So here I come now. Mind you, that was three people in front of me, all white. I come up to the register, and then all of a sudden, hey, are you over 21? Yes, I am. Can I see your ID?
Wow.
Bro, I went off. I snapped. Like, you know, I'm not normally not the one, you know, and people are like, oh, you're so quiet. And, you know, yeah. I went clean off.
Oh, my gosh. That's.
I went off. I went smooth.
You know what?
Off.
That was a random selection kind of thing.
Random selection. Like, you just asked all these people, were they over 21? Did not ask to see their ID. But here I come. Hey, can I see your ID? I said, no. No, you can't.
Yeah.
I was born June 18th, 1980. It's like, and I was like, you didn't ask for all them other people their IDs. I seen. I said, man, I went off. I went off.
Like, just ring me up so I can go.
23rd Ave in Deer Valley.
Oh, my
Circle
God.
K.
Well, where you at? Yeah, I see that.
No, that was 27th. Sorry, 27th Ave. 27th Ave in Deer Valley. I was too heated. Mad. But that's what they do. That's what they do. And I noticed when I first got to this state, because it was like the same thing had happened to me when I first moved to this state. It was like the same thing. And it was like a bunch of, you could tell they was young. You could tell they was too young in that gas station buying cigarettes and liquor. And then here I come. Now, mind you, I watched the whole thing. Never asked for, can I see your ID? Then here I come buying whatever I was getting ready to buy. Hey, can I see your ID? I was like, are you serious right now? All them people that you need should have card. You even card them, but you're going to ask me for my ID? Well, yeah, we need to. I left. Like, I left.
Yeah, I would have too. Those days are gone. No more. I stand. No more.
Man, I'd be like, I have my teenage sons with me. Now, mind you, both my sons are taller than me. And I'd be, they'll ask me, son, hey, can I see your ID? I was like, you literally see my son standing right here next to me? Like, that's my son right there. You gonna card me? Boy, taller than me.
You know they didn't believe in one word you say. They're like,
That's what we got to live through.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad, but that's the reality truth of it. Who's this? All right, so do you remember Shirley Chisholm?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Who was the first African-American woman elected to the U.S. House of Representatives?
Shirley Chisholm. Wait.
Shirley Chisholm.
Didn't she run for president?
I don't think so.
Hey, Google. Who was the first black woman to run for president of the United States? That's how you do it. You gotta ask Google.
So Google knows everything.
Shirley Chisholm.
She knows
I knew it was her.
Yeah. Google is smart.
Smarter than me. Like, hey, Google. No, but yeah, I knew that name. Yeah, Shirley Chisholm, same person. So, obviously she didn't win, but the first African-American and female to run. I think, who was the first African-American male to run for president?
He wasn't.
I thought it was Jesse Jackson.
No, he wasn't the first. But see, it was a guy, I forgot his name.
Hey, Google.
But he was the guy, it wasn't
Who was the first
yet.
African-American male to run for president?
Because it wasn't the U.S. states yet when he ran. So.
Oh, yeah, because they just pulled up like 1904 and 7 U.S. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
It was the black man who did it, but yeah, it wasn't created yet. So, but yeah.
Yeah, they pulled up some old stuff. Because I think there was 16 or so presidents that ran it before the actual
U.S.
president.
Before U.S. became U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's what I was trying to figure out what they meant by that when Trump is going to become the real president. Hey, did you hear that story that the Republicans are putting out there that what you're saying, how before it became the United States of America, there was so many presidents beforehand. So they're trying to say that Trump now is going to become the legitimate president of the United States, and he will be like number 19 or something like that, or 18.
No.
You ever heard that one? Yeah, I saw that one on the news.
You know his thing, the CPAC.
Oh yeah, that was funny. I laughed. I watched it.
Yeah, that right there had it was a former CPAC person that was over the CPAC, and he said that it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's QAnon.
Right. He was like saying that this one
T-PAC.
This one is a cult now.
It's Trump PAC.
Yeah. And they even got a statue.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say it. I knew it was coming up.
Statue of him.
They made a golden statue. Now, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Now, whatever faith you belong to, I know it's somewhere in history, there's somewhere in some Bible somewhere that states do not worship false idols. Then they make a whole cow. I'm just saying, didn't they make a whole cow? Did not Moses come off the mountaintop?
Come on now.
With the 10 Commandments.
Come on.
And smite thee. smite thee down.
He stood up, boy, with this one. Look
Because they were. Do y'all hear me? Moses had the Lord smite thee down to the ground for worshiping false idols. False
right.
What? Golden idols, calves. And then you got these fools rolling in a whole golden trump.
I'm surprised. You know, when I saw that on TV, I was like, is that gold? Then I was like, no, that's orange.
It's orange. I get it. It's orange. It's a big orange statue.
Right.
Oh man, it's like, I was having a conversation with someone the other night. Matter of fact, we might talk. Matter of fact, it was one of the people with the flagrant part of my flagrant podcast will be coming in.
Okay.
And we were discussing this particular subject about Democrats and Republicans, and I'm like, look, the Republican Party is not the same to what it used to be. It's not the same. Like, I feel, and it's just me. It's just, I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. But I feel that if you are a Republican and you still claim to be a Republican, like when you tell me you're a Republican, I consider you a racist. Pretty much. I know it's not right to say that. I get it. It's not right to say that. But that's the way I feel. Is if you tell me you're a Republican, why? Because the Republican Party as a whole may not be like that. There only may be certain people in it, but those certain people are now the forefront of the Republican Party. Hindsight Trump. Hindsight, all these people that helped with start this resurrection that stormed the Capitol. All these QAnon conspiracy theorists.
But see, even with that though, it's more of
That's why it's the party of Trump now, not the Republican Party.
It is. That's what I was gonna say, because his party he's trying to tie it into the GOP. But the thing is that the GOP is trying to reinvent themselves as the party that they should have been, pre-Trump.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Trump is having his own party thing going on. He's trying to tie it in within the GOP. So now he has his coat thing here, then he has the GOP here, and then if he brings those two together and everything, it'd be one big old mass filthy whatever else you want to call it. But yeah,
they just need to throw the whole Republican Party away. Start all over.
Pretty much.
They're Democrats too, really, if you really want to think about it. Like, I think that we should not have this two-party system, or at least bring in a third.
Well, but see, they do have a third, the independents. But see, the thing is though, even though the independents is
Bernie.
Yeah. But at the same time, Bernie has
the Green Party too.
He has a big position though.
Yeah.
See, and his position is finance.
Yeah.
So he's the one who's making that $1,400 come to your pockets.
He's one of them.
Yeah.
And they help trying to make that $15 an hour happen too.
Right. Even with that though. But then you know what I was gonna do? I told a coworker, I was like, look, I said, you know what? When this first started to go on, and I first heard that Cinema he shouldn't want to go for that whole $15 right? And so I was like, I told him, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go on Twitter and everything and just do a tweet and be like, look, okay, you don't want this to happen because, I don't know, but with your people that you surround yourself with, just because you're making $200,000 and everything, you just looking down on us because you want us to keep looking up at you, So I was like, nah, I was gonna put that in. I was like, no, stuff like that. And then I was like, I'll skip it. I ain't gonna do it. And then as soon as I said something like that, you see this whole gang of people tweeting about her on Twitter about it. And I was like, oh wow. So they was thinking the same thing I was thinking. So yeah, it was like a gang of. It was on the news too, how they were talking about all these people, because you had like, what was it, 11.4 million people attack Manchin and Seminar about that.
Yeah. And
they was like saying that, majority of the people spoken. They want it. You had 60% people want the raise.
I know I want it.
Yeah. And so they were like, what you listen to the majority of the people. because those are the one who decides your fate when it comes to when it's time for you to be reelected or not. And I was telling them, I was like, look, I gave an example. I said, look at this. I said, when it's time for her to be reelected and stuff, and if she really wants to be reelected and stuff, then she's gonna be on the ballot, right? And then I was like, look, this, if she feels that she's gonna get reelected if she votes against it and everything, and all these people want it and stuff like that, and she keeps them from getting it and stuff, she won't get reelected.
Yeah, she's been riding that line between being a Democrat and a Republican this whole time. Like she says she's a Democrat.
Yeah. And then I was like telling him, I was like, look at this. I said, let's say you have a Republican on the ticket and you have her on the ticket and everything. And I was like, look at this. You have some loyalist Democrats and everything, even though they will want to vote for her, they'll vote for that Republican because of what she did, what she kept from them.
Oh, I've done that before, and then a lot of people, just like with Trump, there was a lot of Republicans that were just mad at Trump that wound up voting for a Democrat.
That's right.
We've all done stuff like that.
Yeah, and so I'm like, you know what, even though that's politics and stuff like that, but still, it's just the point of keeping something from from us till we can get out of this this poverty thing, because
what we got to do. We got to go to Mars.
Oh, my gosh.
We just need to go ahead and colonize Mars. We just need to go get our own planet. Just throw the whole planet away. Start all over.
Wow. A new planet, huh?
Hey, you know what? Congrats to NASA, while we're on the subject. Congrats to Elon Musk and, all these people that are pushing the way for space travel, space technology. We just landed Perseverance on Mars. It's the most advanced robot we have. We have like 5 different Mars rovers up there right now. This is now the first rover that can now drill into the
crust.
They can actually drill. Not like a whole lot, but enough to get like core samples, things like that. But it's going to take like 10 years for us to go get them samples, and now they're trying to figure out how are we going to go get it? But it's collecting all of those samples. Also, because of all the different, I know now it's like, woo.
Look at it. You're like, oh, okay, I'm into this.
I'm at home, right? I'm at home now. But it's like all those other rovers. I think there was at least maybe 2 or one or two that actually died. Like, they've been up there so long, the batteries just died.
Oh, okay.
So this one now has a nuclear fusion, like, reactor on it.
So they're not able to get a battery to those other ones?
I mean, there was a battery on it, but it's been up there. So, like, they had a lot of solar. They had solar batteries, but after so long, it's like it went up. It's been up there for, like, 20 years or so? It's been up there a long time.
Yeah.
But now this one has a nuclear fusion reactor on it. Like, so we got a nuclear bomb on Mars right now, huh?
Wow. If that thing go off.
I'm afraid what's going to happen. Really? Nuclear, huh?
They go Mars.
But, they did it because so it can last longer and more powerful, because obviously you got to do all that drilling, and it can now move around at night, things like that, because where they sent it to now is like supposed to have been some kind of big ocean back in the day, and they're trying to get, and that's the best place to get signs of life. Is there signs of life? So that's the best place to get these type of tests is in that area. So,
well, the images that I see on
beautiful pictures.
It's like I'm
amazing,
like, oh
pictures.
My gosh!
Did you see the blue sun?
Yeah.
Like we got the red sun. They call it the red sun here. They got the blue sun up there. It's freaking amazing.
Yeah, I was like, wow, okay.
Like we are literally on another planet right now. We can literally tap in. All you gotta do is tap in, go online. I sit there literally. There's nerdness is coming out of me. I watch it every day. I'll sit there and watch the live streams, and I'll sit there and watch like the different pictures coming in that they post. I love it. I love it. I've watched I can't even tell you how many times I've watched it land over and over and over.
I die hard. Literally. Yeah. But that's cool though. What with that though, speaking of Elon Musk, this man lost $30 billion.
Oh, I haven't heard this one. Wait, what? For what?
Playing the stocks.
I didn't hear about that one. Wait, what did he do?
Well, his first thing was he spent. Okay, you know this whole thing about the Bitcoin.
Okay.
Okay, he invested 1.5 billion of his money into the Bitcoin, and since he did that, the Bitcoin flopped. It went down 20% or something like that, and then he lost that. Plus, he lost 15 billion from that, and then it went down again and stuff, and he lost another 15 billion.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Billion, not million.
Billion. So, yeah, 30 billion.
He better go find some Mars diamonds or something, because God.
He's worth over 200 billion?
Yeah, he's worth a lot of money.
So 30 billion is like 30 million.
Ain't nothing here.
It's like, okay, I still got money. So
he got money.
Yeah.
He's got money enough to keep sending these spaceships up
right.
there.
But see, even with that, it's gonna make him even more money.
Well, now he's got his satellite up there now. The Starlink. He's starting that new Starlink internet service.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see what this Starlink is gonna be like.
You got that up.
It's supposed to be like that new high speed internet.
Yeah, like the what is that? The gigabyte, something like that. It's supposed to be like triple of what the.
It's called the Gigablast with Cox Communications.
So even with that, that's not even fast.
No, it's not.
So,
look, let me tell y'all. Look, because I work for the company, Gigablast is not the fastest speed out there. Okay, first off, I wish they stopped saying that. They have this other plan that's called 500. Let me tell y'all something. No matter how fast your internet plan is, there's a data cap. And people are like, "Well, I have unlimited internet." No, you do not. You do not. The only way to get unlimited data is to pay an extra $50 a month on top of what you already pay. So if you're paying $60 for preferred 150 internet, just tack on another $50, then you can get unlimited internet. Even if you have Gigablast, you do not have unlimited internet. No, such a misconception.
That's false advertising.
Such a misconception. Such a misconception.
They want to make you go get that money.
Yeah, there's no such thing as unlimited internet. The only way you can get unlimited internet, but you're gonna pay for that unlimited internet. It costs money to get unlimited.
Wow, that is something.
Yeah.
See, that's tell you false advertisement.
But it does open up different channels. That's why they say it's faster, because in a way they are right. It does open up different channels. So like the best way to describe it with Gigablast is like the expressway. You have the regular 1, 2, 3 lanes, and then you got the Hove lane. Gigablast is like having that Hove lane where it just gives you a whole nother lane of internet that's like untouched. You can just tap into
until it gets flooded by a whole lot of people though.
Oh yeah. People don't realize that. Okay. Working for the company, like, you learn things. We have never said in the history of having internet that your state ran out of internet. Like, it's just never heard of.
I didn't even think it was possible.
But here we are, 2020, 2021. Now, every state in the United States of America has ran out of internet at least once. Places like California has ran out about 7-8 times. Virginia, Louisiana, and Rhode Island have all ran out of internet at least 7 times.
Wow.
And I kept thinking, like, Virginia, I can understand California running out of internet. There's too many people in California. I get that. But I was like, wow, how did Virginia run out of internet? Like, what? And I can understand Louisiana, because Louisiana is just built wrong.
So when they say internet, they're talking about the broadband?
Data. Yeah, broadband.
The
your
broadband
data.
of it. Okay.
Because the reason that I'm getting into how it runs out, I'm going to explain it. But I was like, well, how does Virginia run out of internet? Well, now, once again, working for the company, you start learning things. There is a lot of government buildings. There's a lot of government stuff in Virginia. And there's not a lot of whole people that live in Virginia, but there's a lot of government stuff up there. So now it's like, what really is in Virginia? What's underneath Virginia? What do y'all, as a government, what do y'all have that's using all this data in Virginia? Something to think about. Conspiracy theorists, tap in. But no. So how you run out of internet? So the best way to describe it, I used to work for Armored Truck. Yep, I've done it all. So I used to work for Armored Truck. You know, you take money from one place to another. We used to leave out of our base every day with at least $4 million on our truck. Every day, $4 million. But okay, so let's say we go take money to these different ATMs. So I'm going to take, if I go to the gas station, I'm going to put about $40,000 in the ATM at the gas station. If I go to a venue like casino, football stadium, things like that, I'm put a little bit more. I'm gonna put about $100,000 and more in these ATMs because you know it's going to get used more because of where you're at.
Right.
So we put that much in because people are not going to go over that amount. We don't expect y'all to go over that amount. So the internet works the same way. We put a certain amount of data in certain areas. And like that saying, let's just say we put about 40 gigabytes or whatever. We put about that much in this particular city, this area, and you're never going to go over that. Well, now that the stay-at-home order went into effect back in last March, everybody went home. And all these kids are at home at school. There is a difference between a business market and a residential market as far as internet.
Right,
the residential market was never meant for business use. Now everybody's at home, working at home, kids are home, and all of that is out of whack. So all that data we put in, it runs out. Then we got to put more in. Then it runs out. Then we got to put more in. That's why states are running out of internet now.
Oh.
Ooh, bars.
Look at you being knowledgeable. Look.
Bars. Teach y'all something today. So stop calling us talking about my internet, though. I know your internet doesn't work.
Wow.
Well, it didn't start happening 2 weeks ago. No, it's been happening since March. It probably just hasn't affected you yet.
So that the thing that's going on in Texas, you know, that disaster.
Same concept.
You know, yeah, because it's like, because what is it? Biden had approved the disaster fund for them to get some funding and stuff for
and they didn't do
help. Well, no, he just did it.
I know, but the winterizing and all that stuff, they didn't do it. They knew 10 years ago that this was going to happen because it happened 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They've had all these years to get it right, and they didn't.
So now they supposed to get this funding and stuff. Well, the funding is for them to get assistance for the government and all that stuff like that. Now people can go to there and get what they need and all that stuff like that. The governor there was thanking Biden for doing that, for getting them the help that they need. Okay.
What Cruz say? Was he still in Cancun?
Right? You know, even with that, it's like. But the thing is that this is the thing though. I was like, okay, the governor is thanking Biden because Biden came and signed off on it and all that stuff. So he partially did it, okay? But this is a governor, the same governor that was against Biden.
Yep.
That's trying to be the thorn in his side from day one. So I'm like, but now at the same time, but he's like, well, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We need this.
Yeah, but Biden's done some questionable stuff too. That we're going to talk about later. So make sure y'all tune in to AZNO next week. We're going to have more here. We're also going to bring in the crew, the cast and crew of Pardon My Flagrancy podcast. I know it's about 4 of them. I keep not mentioning names because I really don't remember all their names. So I'm just trying to.
So that's why he's not mentioning no names.
I don't remember all their names. I'm sorry.
So you'll find out their names.
You're going to find out next week. Tune in. Pardon the Flagrancy podcast crew.
That's right. So in all that saying, though, we want you to understand that AZNO is here to give you to listen to what we talk about is the news, and to give you updates to current news, and to help everyone understand that you have to stay woke.
Stay woke.
All right? Stay woke.
Gonna get through this. Gonna fight through this. Gonna live through this. Gonna love through this. We yell power to the people, the moss to the steeple. Melanin royalty, fighting for what's equal. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. We shout love one another. My sister, my brother. Listen to the truth.